Chapter 11. Delving Deeper. In the morning, he found Rez there. "Did I pass out again?" he asked her as he entered the kitchen to discover her preparing coffee. "No, you called me in the middle of the night and then hung up abruptly without a word. I'm not one for booty calls, but I got the feeling that you needed someone's company. I've met Shikse and can see why you might call your only other friend." "I have friends," Alice tried to explain, but he really didn't. For all intents and purposes, Rez and Shikse were the only people he even knew, let alone could call friends. He just sat at the table as she handed him a steaming mug. "I saw him yesterday. He told me about my mother." "Oh?" Rez's eyebrows raised. "That seems a bit too coincidental for the first Manisae that you have met to have known your parents." "It wasn't. He explained to me that he had been on the transport ship specifically to meet me. He was at the wake too, my father's, that is, and had followed me afterward when he realized that I would be coming to Tiras. He worked with my mother just before she died. Her passion for exoarchaeology is what inspired him to take it up." When Rez started to inquire about the term, he told her everything that had happened over the course of the previous day and night. She sat and listened silently until he was finished, only interrupting to ask questions for clarification. As Alice sat back exhausted despite the coffee, she said, "So, you think the aneurysm that your mother died from was caused by her experimentation with this crystal?" Alice nodded solemnly. "If not from the first use, at least from the repeated use that I had driven her to. By forcing her to keep it a secret. My father, I mean." "Can I see it?" she asked after a pause. He led her to the study and handed the artifact to her, then showed her how to open it, feeling no need to caution her after what she had just learned. "Wow," she whispered. "I can't imagine how much information this would contain. The ones that humans are capable of using seem much lighter. Perhaps they're less dense, or maybe the data is formatted differently. Do you think the Manisae have figured out a way to interface with them yet?" "I think they must have, and probably not long after they appropriated the discovery. From what I can remember, and let me know if I'm remembering wrong, which wouldn't surprise me these days, the memory crystals were first given to humans by the Manisae 15 years ago. That's Earth years. So they would have had to reverse engineer the technology to be able to reproduce it on a less efficient scale for human and Manisae anatomy. That's assuming that the anatomy of the people who created them was vastly different. Your comment about the data being differently formatted for our brains would necessitate reconfiguring the mode of transfer, and that would have taken a much longer time, I think. My guess is that the technology didn't have to be drastically manipulated to work with humans. We know that Manisae brains are chemically similar enough to humans, so it would explain the shorter development of the technology, as well as answer the question as to whether they were using it as well. I'm afraid I don't know anything else about their development and research into the artifacts, only what my father knew regarding it, which was my mother's experimentation. Shikse mentioned that he thought my father was advocating for the release, or at least sharing, of the knowledge of these first people on Tiras. Rez added, "Especially if sharing the knowledge of the existence of these people was followed by deciphered knowledge of their culture. It could spark a war, or foster the closest bonds between humanity and the Manisae. All depends on how it's released, I guess." Alice nodded. "I think I should do a little more research into my father's files. Perhaps there's something there that I missed, or something that might trigger additional memories. I feel like I'm hunting for where he wrote down his passwords so that I can unlock his journal, except that his journal is in my brain already."